Hello everyone. Welcome to this session on how to ace personal interviews. I'm sure all those who are watching this video have appeared for various entrance exams and now it's time to kill the interview. Correct? So let's have this session. So what I'll be doing is we will be doing some hygiene check, fact checks, and then I will move on to the most frequently asked question and how you should be focusing or how you should be preparing for those questions. So let's start. So what is personal interview? So to start with what is personal interview, let's see with an help of few example. So if I take a case one, so you need to identify who is this personality. So the clue one is an author of a book, Development as Freedom and the Idea of Justice. Any guesses, anyone? Let's move on to clue two. He has won Nobel Prize in economics. Anyone by the first and second clue? The third clue won Bharat Ratna in 1999. I'm sure by now, maybe at the end of second clue, most of you would have figured out. If not, then at the end of third clue, I'm sure 9 out of 10 students watching this session would have figured out who is this personality. So the personality is respected Amartya Sen. Let's take the second example. Let's take the second case. Did schooling from Shantiniketan, did BA in economics with minors in mathematics from Presidency College, was diagnosed with an oral cancer at the young age of 18. Is anyone able to figure out who is the personality? Anyone? I'm sure most of you are stuck up and not able to figure out who is the personality. Whether it is unfortunate or fortunate, it's same, our respected Amartya Sen. Now what happened? The clue that I gave for the first case were very notable and very distinguished. Okay, something that should be wow for. If you look at the second case, I spoke about the schooling, from which school, which college, which degree, and diagnosed with an oral cancer, something which is not to be very proud of or a wow moment. I am not saying that not proud of doing schooling from Shanti Niketan and did graduation from Presidency College. I'm not saying he's not wow. I mean not proud of it, but I'm saying that these are not a wow content and this is a wow content, right? You need to ensure that in a PI, in a personal interview, you speak about something that create a wow about you rather than just focusing on something which is very normal, very ordinary. Okay, let's get started. Now, how to prepare for the interview? That's a basic question. Now, at the end, I will show you the bucket list of questions, which question you need to be preparing for the interview round. Introspect and identify the most important and the interesting point in your profile. So, sit for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, hour, 2 hour, write down piece on a piece of paper, write down all the point that you can think that this is something you should be mentioning in interview. Probably we will shortlist later, but first thing first foremost, maybe write down 500 words, 2 3 pages, write down whatever you can write down, get evaluated with the mentor. Okay, but don't right now restrict yourself with your thought process. Share the list with your mentors, seniors, and get their suggestion. Get their suggestion with respect to what should be kept in. Tell me something about yourself, what you should be speaking about, and what you should not be speaking about. Write few sentences about every point identified and prepare answers for these FAQs. So let's say I have written that my hobby is playing guitar. Okay, then I should be knowing each and everything about guitar. I should be knowing who are the famous Indian guitarists, national at at the national level as well as the global level. How many different types of guitars are available? What is difference between a electric guitar and an acoustic guitar? What is the principal phenomena that is used in guitar from which the sound is produced? What is that phenomena? So I'm saying each and every detail you should be aware about it. What is the material that string of a guitar is made up of, right? Brush up the academics, because academic is something you cannot run away. They will definitely ask you academic, so you cannot run away from academic. Read and analyze the information gathered from the newspaper and magazine. So you need to ensure that you are not only introspecting about yourself, also you are brushing up the academics and being in touch with the current affairs and the general knowledge. They might ask you the current affairs and the business affairs. Moving on, key things that you need to remember. Prepare is very important, because lack of preparation or overconfidence will definitely not take you anywhere. You cannot face an interview with a confidence level that I have scored 230 marks and I'm going to kill IIM Indore, I'm going to get into it. Never do that. I have seen students scoring 220, 225 and still not making into IIM Indore, and at the same time I have seen students scoring 201 marks, 209 marks, 207 marks and still converting IIM Indore. So the thing is, you should not be taking anything for granted. Interview is a formal conversation. Don't use any informal language. Don't use any informal word or something. Your conversation should be purely in English. Don't use Hindi or English for that matter. Pay attention to question and respond after thinking. At times students are in a hurry to answer. Take a pause. I'm not saying take a pause for 30 seconds, but at least 2-3 seconds of a pause before you start answering, because you will be able to gather your thoughts properly and will be able to present properly, and that will also showcase your ability to understand the question right and respond with a very calm attitude. The panel is definitely smarter than you, so definitely don't bluff in front of them. Don't try to act very smart in front of them. They know much more than you. They know much more than you, and so if you don't know anything, it's always better to say I don't know. Okay, but then 70% of your interview can't go with the answer I don't know. I mean, that's not going to help, right? Don't criticize anything you have done so far. So I have seen a lot of students who criticize about, I have scored less mark in my 10th standard because the teacher in my school was not good. I was not able to focus on extracurricular and co-curricular because of this reason. Don't try to criticize anything. Don't try to always justify why you did not do this, you did not do that, you did not do that. Don't try to criticize anything. Don't try to criticize your school, your college, your teacher, because see, if I am taking the interview, if I am from IIM Indore or if I am from any institute, I would not want that person in my college who is criticizing about the past institution, because then very high chances that you may go out of IIM Indore and again you start criticizing about IIM Indore. So very simple, do not criticize about anything. Take it take it positively and try to make it a affirmative conversation. Don't argue, be humble, very important. Institute would not like arrogant students coming and joining their college and disturbing probably the learning for the other students. So be calm, be humble. uh, so when I say don't argue, it does not mean that don't have a conversation where you are countering and countering the arguments. Okay, you can definitely counter the argument, you can put your point forward, but just don't do it for sake of doing it. Okay, if you are sure about it, only then put your counter argument. If you are not sure about it, accept it. As simple as that. The moment you accept it, they will move on to the next question. But the moment you start arguing on a data that you are not very sure about, you're not confident on, they will keep digging in and you will waste your interview time. So that's what we want to say here. Be prepared for surprises in an interview. For example, your interview may not start with tell me something about yourself. So be prepared for any kind of surprises that you may come across. uh, Formal wear is what we recommend, what we suggest. Footwear, it should be it should be a formal footwear. You cannot wear a trouser, formal trouser and a sport shoes, right? Personal grooming, ensure that you have groomed yourself well. You have cut your hairs. If for girls, you need to have tied your heads properly. no makeups and no cosmetics, very heavy makeup or bangles and all those stuff not needed in an interview. Accessories, simulate the same look at least once. Don't try a new blazer on the day of interview. You may not be very comfortable wearing that for the first time. So try to simulate everything that you are going to wear on the day of interview, at least 3-4 days before the interview, so that if any changes need to be made, you have enough time. Make an effort to look presentable. You are going for a formal interview. You need to be very presentable. Now, let's move on to the frequently asked question. Tell me something about yourself. Don't repeat everything written on your CV or a profile. If you mention everything which is written on a CV or profile, then what extra addition you are, providing to them? Focus on highlights and key achievements. That should create a wow. Don't just simply mention for sake of mentioning it. Try to portray it in a way that it looks like a wow. Use it as an opportunity to drive the interview towards your strong areas. So you need to ensure that you are speaking on those topics uh, which are your strong areas. So speak about your hobbies, speak about academics if you are good at it, speak about your extracurricular, co-curricular activities, speak about your leadership quality. So this is what you need to be speaking on. Why this program? Why this institute? You need to have a proper clarity why IIM Indore, why Symbiosis, why IIM Rohtak, and why IPM program. So you cannot simply say an answer which would be true for everyone. See, the question is why. The question would be why do you want to do this program? So there should be a personal touch, personal angle to it. You need to ensure that there is some kind of a personal angle. Why do you want to do it? Otherwise, for most of the students, that answer becomes very generic. If I give that answer from a student ABC to an XYZ, it still holds true. So you need to ensure that will this answer hold true for my friend also? If it is yes, then you need to change your answer. Uh, Now in detail, how to answer and everything. We will do this in detail when we do a one-to-one session. So we do this in detail because it will depend from student to student how to answer this particular question. Why this program and why this college? Okay. Also, I forgot one thing here. Yeah. So when you are highlighting your achievement, uh, so rather than saying that I was third in my school in class 10, I was third in my school in class 10. It's always better to say that out of 240 students, I stood third in my 10th standard, because you're third out of 40 students or you're third out of 240 students, what it was. So you need to ensure that you glorify your achievement. Uh, I was the head boy of my school. Rather than saying I was head boy of my school, can I put it this way? I was elected as a head boy of a school by a panel of principal, vice principal, and few senior teachers among the 7 students who had applied for the post. So that glorifies your achievement, that it was not you were the only one, and that was the process by which you were elected as a head boy. So you need to glorify the statement, but understand that you don't over glorify it and just don't do mushka polish. Don't try to be very fake in, if you want to just glorify, just don't try to be fake. Short term and long term goals. So do you know where you want to be and the path to get? They will ask you, where do you see yourself 5 years down the line? Where do you see yourself after 3 years completing your IPM program? Even if the things might evolve, I mean, that this is the thing that it happens with most of the students. Like, they think something right now, after 5 years, 6 years, 7 years down the line, it's not the same what you have thought earlier. But at least right now, do you have a clarity about it? Why do you want to do program from IIM? Why do you want to do this particular program? How it is going to help you? Do you need to have that clarity right now? It might change. Even I know, the professor also know that 9 out of 10 students will have a different plan after 5 years as compared to what they say right now. Strength and weakness, very important. Most of the time, students know what are their strengths, but they don't know what are their weaknesses. How can you not know what are your weaknesses? I would definitely take this as a very negative, because as a person, if you don't know what are your weaknesses, then you cannot become a good manager. And hence you need to have your strength and weakness, at least 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses in place. But ensure that your weaknesses are not too much of a negative thing, so that it hampers your candidature in that particular college. And for the weaknesses, you need to ensure that you have the plan of action, the areas of improvement to overcome that weakness. You know what are your weaknesses, but if you don't know that how you are going to overcome, then what is the point of knowing what are your weaknesses? For example, I am not good at time management. If I'm not good at time management, what am I doing right now so that I overcome that weakness? And is there any time frame, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years down the line, I'll ensure that I'll do this activity to ensure that I am better at time management. So you need to have that, the areas of improvement and the timeline in your mind. You need to have a rough estimate at least. Okay, so have 3 strengths and 3 weaknesses in place. Now, one example: being an emotional cannot be your weakness. Okay, I'm very rude cannot be a weakness which should be stated in an interview. I'm very emotional, because every human being is emotional. So what is so, I mean, why it is your weakness? I mean, you need to explain that. And to be very honest, emotional, I mean, every human being has emotion, so we are emotional. So that ideally cannot be your weakness. You need to probably say something else rather than saying emotional, or I'm rude, or uh, I don't gel with people. These are the weaknesses which will definitely hamper your candidature in the any institute. Hobbies and interest, very very important. All hobbies are interest, but all interests are not hobbies. I like following cricket. That's my interest. That's not my hobby. Hobby is something that I pursue. Playing guitar, gardening is my hobby. Cooking is my hobby. Okay, watching a MasterChef show is my interest. I mean, I'm not good at cooking, but I like watching MasterChef show. That's my interest. So all hobbies are interest, but all interests are not hobbies. And do a very thorough research about your hobby. So I gave example about guitar, right? So for example, if you say that you are very, you like, your hobby is clicking photographs, and so what kind of photographs? I mean, if it's a regular photograph with your mobile, please don't mention. Uh, you need to know what is DSLR. You need to know, what are the different uh, megapixel, and what are the different angles by which you can click the photographs. Do you have some probably have a folder in which you have clicked some photographs in last 1.5 2 months or over a year, which are extremely good, some wildlife photography or something of nature or something different. Not just clicking photographs of friends can become that as a hobby. Extracurricular activity and a significant achievement, prioritize, very 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 important. And ideally you should prioritize in 2 ways. First, from the importance where you have participated, whether it's international level, national level, state, district level, or at a school level, city level, and then at school level. So prioritize in that way, and you should keep the recent activity at the top and the oldest activity at the bottom in your answer list. You need not cover everything, absolutely fine. So you may have 25 list of extra co-curricular activity. Don't mention everything, because you will unnecessarily waste your time for the interview. You will have to identify 5 most important thing in your profile, maybe 3, maybe 4, depending upon student to student. Prioritize which extracurricular or co-curricular activity need to come up first, second, three, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in that order. Have you state something can make it as an achievement, even if it may not be a great achievement in general view. So I gave one example, right? That I was third in my 10th standard. But I was third in my 10th standard out of 240 students. Then I also gave example about elected as a class monitor. So how you represent that, how you state that, it matter. uh, General knowledge and current affairs. So you should have the knowledge, that is the level 1. I have knowledge about everything which is happening around me in my city, in my state, in my country, and the global level. So again, I have the knowledge. If it is in your city, you should be aware about it. If it is in your state, you know, yeah, sorry. So you need to have, if it is in a city, you need to have the understanding and you need to also have the opinion of on that understanding. If it is in a state, having knowledge and having understanding about the event and activity, you should be aware. Opinion, if you have it, great. If it is happening in India, you should have a knowledge, understanding, opinion. Again, it depends what kind of activity is that. If it is at a global level, having a knowledge about it is fair enough. Okay, at this age, at your age, having a knowledge has having is a fair deal. Opinion about the understanding, if you have it, that would be a cherry on a cake, and that would be a great thing. Okay. Obstacle face, life changing experience. It can be professional or it can be personal. Something, when your family or anything, or maybe in your school, it could be anything. The panel wants to know how did you overcome it and what did you learn out of it. That is the most important thing. Did you learn out of it? Okay, that's the most crucial and the important thing. So if there are any obstacle, any setbacks, open up, share with your mentors, share with your mentors and check with them if you can say this setbacks or obstacle. If they say yes, you should be mentioning it's not very much critical, then also have an answer to what did you learn from it, so that you can say that in your interview that you learn XYZ 1 2 3 4 things. Okay. uh, Family background. If you come from a business family, might be asked regarding your involvement, long term plans, how this program fit. So I have a family business. My father is a lawyer and he has a very great family business. Why do I want to do this programs, and do I have any plan to join my family business? Okay, just an random example. If my father has a retail store, uh, how it is going, how this program is going to help me, or do I have plan to join the retail store after completing my degree from the institute? I have a low academics. Accept it. No need to argue that yeah, this, that, XYZ reason. Accept it. That's the best way to ignore that question. The moment you start giving the reason, they will dig into it and you will not be very comfortable answering those questions, because you have lot more things to discuss in an interview. Okay. And if you have low academic, you made a mistake, accept it and say that this is what you learned, and this is how you moved ahead, and now your academics have been on the upward trend. Idol and inspiration. So very important, you need to know that person well. So if someone says that my idol is Sachin Tendulkar, example, I can ask you, uh, where did Sachin Tendulkar score the first century? You need to know that. Okay. You need to know probably how many international matches did he play, how many ODI centuries, how many test centuries. So about his professional life, you should be aware about it. If you are aware about his personal life, maybe from source or something, that would be great. But otherwise, as I said, you need to know everything about that person if that person is your personal inspiration. Okay. Try giving your idol or inspiration or as your father or your mother, grandfather, grandmother. Try avoid giving that answer. Though you still can, but why am I saying try avoid giving that as an inspiration or idol? Because then you are not letting the interviewer ask you any further question on that, because they don't know your father or your grandfather or your mother. So what question that they can ask you, right? So they cannot test your knowledge. So you lost one opportunity to be tested on an area which you are very comfortable with. Okay, I'll repeat. So don't, I'm not saying that you should not say, you should avoid saying, because then if I say something, let's say Sudha Murthy, I know in and out everything about Sudha Murthy, that discussion about Sudha Murthy can go for 1 or 2 minutes. So at least I can create that wow image in front of an interviewer. Otherwise, I will lose that opportunity. Okay. Yeah, that's it from my end. Thank you very much. I am sure all of you will be preparing thoroughly for the interview round. So see you soon with a lot more knowledge based sessions to crack the interview. Till then, bye bye. All the best.